This brand new smartphone for sale in 2024 is just $149. Either someone hasn't told Motorola that everything is supposed to be more expensive these days, or something is majorly wrong with this phone. With a supposed 90Hz display, 5000 mAh battery, and 1 TB worth of expandable storage, not to mention 6.5 inches of screen real estate, a headphone jack, and water resistance, there's gotta be something going on.
Hello, Moto.
Huge thanks to Chime for sponsoring this video, more on them later. The first thing I noticed after the strangely seductive introduction is that even though our screen refresh rate might be 90 Hz, the screen brightness only reaches 500 nits, which is quite a bit lower than most flagships. Even OnePlus or Apple peak at about 2000, but while it is dimmer than most, it is still visible, so let's not grab our pitchforks just yet. At $149, I might expect the screen to be made from plastic, but according to the Memo scale of hardness, we see scratch resistance past levels 2 or 3, and the screen gives us protection all the way up to scratches at level 6 with deeper grooves at a level 7. The 2024 Moto G Play is using Gorilla Glass 3. So far so good. That same slab of glass is protecting the front-facing 8-megapixel camera, and there is a razor-thin earpiece slit between the glass and what I assume is a black plastic frame. The reason I assume it's plastic is because this extremely lightweight phone appears to be made in the same style that every phone was made with back in 2015. Almost a decade ago. Plastic body, plastic buttons, and plastic bezel holding the glass screen. The top of the Moto G Play has a headphone jack, also similar to how things were 10 years ago, but hey, if it works, it works. One incredible thing that this $149 phone offers is an expandable storage tray that can utilize a 1 TB SD card. Could you imagine the utopia if every flagship allowed us this privilege? With how lightweight the phone feels, I was kind of expecting the back panel to be made from plastic, and judging by the damage inflicted by my razor blade, my hypothesis was correct. The back plastic panel is a very unique shiny shade of blue that reminds me of a bright summer sky. Most people would erroneously think that clouds are fluffy, harmless pillows, but in reality, a single mile-long cloud in the sky can have more than 1,000,000 pounds of water inside. 1,000,000 pounds worth of cloud just floating around up there overhead, to me personally, doesn't sound very fluffy or harmless, so I'll just continue staying inside. Where was I? Oh yeah. Motorola stuck their camera flash inside a camera ring circle to make it look like there's more than one camera back here. But there is most assuredly only one camera, I counted. It's a 50 megapixel honker though, so hopefully it can hold its own. I'll leave the camera quality to other reviewers. For our intents and purposes, it's sufficient to know that it's protected with glass. The display of the G Play is a tad above 720p, and judging by the 9 seconds it lasted under the heat from my lighter before the pixels turned off, the 6.5-inch screen is an LCD, which we haven't seen in a while. And apparently, even at this price, Motorola has included a built-in power button fingerprint scanner, which doesn't work all that great since I already scratched it, but you know, these durability quirks are what we are here to find. The biggest question though is how does a plastic frame and plastic back hold up to a bend test? The 2024 Moto G Play has an unnerving amount of flex when bent from the front, and again an unnerving amount of flex when bent from the back. But there are no creaks, cracks, bends, or damage anywhere to be seen. All $149 worth of hardware is solidly safe from catastrophe. Stage 1 complete, but can it also survive the teardown? We're going to see if the Moto G has any balls inside the speaker, how big the camera sensors are, and of course how thermal dissipation works on a plastic phone. You know what's better than $149 though? Taking control of your own finances. Huge thanks to Chime for sponsoring this video. Chime is an award-winning app and credit card with no hidden fees or monthly minimums. It's the banking of the future that's 100% mobile and online. Chime allows users to get their paychecks or tax returns up to 2 days earlier with direct deposit, and you can save a portion of your paycheck for a rainy day, while getting $100 worth of fee-free overdraft protection with SpotMe, all while building and improving your credit, which is absolutely essential in today's world. A Chime checking account gives you access to 60,000 fee-free ATM machines, which is more than the top 3 national banks combined, and in less time than it takes me to remove these 19 screws, you can sign up for Chime in just minutes. Join the millions of other Chime members at chime.com/jerryrig, and I'll leave a link down in the video description. And huge thanks to Chime for discounting another wave of my off-road wheelchairs by $1,000 each, which is pretty awesome. With the screws gone, the hardest part of separating the plastic back from the screen was me remembering to remove the SIM card tray, which apparently is super important. With the frame and back plastics gone, it's interesting to see how incredibly simple Motorola has built this G-Play. A penny saved is a penny earned, and Motorola has saved as many pennies as possible. For example, the lower loudspeaker, while having a speaker box enclosure, is missing the back half, and it also doesn't have any balls. The charging port does seem to be watertight enough with its thick black gasket, and the vibrator is an eccentric rotating mass motor, also probably from 2015. But hey, it's inexpensive and does vibrate, and that's all it needs to do. I'll unplug the screen ribbon cable and pop out the motherboard from the midframe, and it looks like that motherboard is using the remaining portions of the phone as a heatsink, since the midframe is made from metal. The front 8-megapixel selfie camera is the tiniest little guy we ever did see, and the headphone jack is soldered onto the motherboard, with the same black waterproofing gasket that we saw around the USB-C port. The flash is also soldered directly to the motherboard, and the main 50-megapixel camera has a much smaller footprint than we're used to seeing, and it also does not include OIS or optical image stabilization, which is a pretty big deal and something to consider. The biggest deal, however, is that while attempting to save cost, Motorola has declined to include pull tabs for the battery, instead opting for incredibly clingy adhesive that rivals even the craziest of girlfriends. The adhesive requires not just 1 round of isopropyl alcohol, nor 2 rounds of isopropyl alcohol, but 3 full rounds of alcohol to finally get the 5,000 mAh battery free from the phone. Permanently glued batteries make recycling incredibly difficult, and I would suggest to Motorola to spend a few extra pennies to make recycling easier, especially since this phone only has 3 years worth of software updates. Every phone hits end of life eventually, and we should plan for it. And by we, I mean Motorola. The last thing to point out is that while Motorola does call this phone water resistant, and some of the holes are indeed protected, the main speaker opening does not include any waterproofing mesh, and it relies on the speaker itself to keep the water out, which isn't ideal. So I would strongly recommend not getting this phone anywhere near water. To be honest, not everyone needs a $1,300 flagship. A $149 smartphone would work perfectly for the non-social media addicted portion of the population, as small as that group may be, and I'm glad Motorola is out here making smartphones for the financially intelligent. With the excess alcohol cleaned off the gold contacts for the power button, the 2024 Moto G Play turns back on and functions like normal. Yeah, it does look like it got hit with £1 million worth of cloud, but it did indeed survive my durability test and teardown, so I'll give it a thumbs up for that. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, Chime is in the description, and thanks a ton for watching. I'll see you around.